when did the left turn violent? Historically, May Day, which was yesterday, has been a day for labor activism. Yesterday, though, the American left decided somehow to make it about illegal immigration, which ironically lowers the wages of American workers. There was also quite a bit of violence. Take a look at this. 25 people were arrested in Portland, Oregon after their march devolved into a riot. There are multiple arrests, meanwhile, in Berkeley, California. All of this raises the question, why are at least some on the political left so readily embracing violence? In the early days of the Obama administration, there were plenty of Tea Party protests, people dressed in tri-cornered hats. None of those ever turned into a riot. Jose Antonio Vargas is an illegal immigrant. He's also the CEO and founder of Define American, a pro-illegal immigrant organization, and he joins us now on the set. Jose, why the violence? All of us can understand a disagreement over policy, but this is not a fight between left and right. This is the left setting fire, breaking things.
Well, first of all, I am neither from the left nor the right. I don't know if we talked to all of those people who are protesting and asked them if all of them are from the left. I don't really know what that means.
Well, they were people shouting pro-illegal immigration slogans and then setting things on fire. Yes, they're from the left. That's correct.
I know many conservatives and Republicans who believe for immigration reform, for example.
For sure.
If we're not talking about immigrants.
No, that is absolutely
they're
true.
Criminals.
None of them were on the street yesterday in Portland or in Paris or in Berkeley. Didn't talk to every one of them. but the ones shouting left-wing slogans are left-wing. And it's of a piece with what we've seen for the past 5 months, where almost all of the political violence, and there's been a lot of it, has been perpetrated by the left in the name of the fight against fascism. And my question is, A, where is this going? And B, what is the justification for this?
Well, first of all, I really take offense to the very simplistic left and right way that you're framing this. I mean, it suits your viewers and Fox News, but it doesn't suit reality. Second of all...
Well, first of all, wait, stop. It is reality. What you're just watching on the screen were not people who voted for Trump. There are people who believe that Trump, because they were screaming anti-Trump slogans. That's why. Look, I'm not impugning everyone who's against Trump. I'm merely saying that a subset of the American left is using violence in pursuit of their political aims, and nobody is saying anything about it. They're getting away with it, and people like you who should be denouncing it aren't. And that's the point I'm making.
Well, first of all, I did not participate in any of the protests. My protest yesterday was, as an undocumented immigrant in this country, one of 11 million who are viewed as criminals, my own way of protesting was just actually very quietly and respectfully thinking about what it means to be an immigrant in that Trump era, right? So that was my way.
Okay, well, thank you for not breaking anything. Well, I'm not accusing you of setting fires. I'm merely saying, like, where are people who agree with these folks standing up and saying, you're not allowed to do, you can't block traffic, you can't break things, you can't set fires. It's pretty simple.
Well, first of all, I cannot speak for all those people and why they did what they did. What I can tell you is that for many of us, this issue was not just quote-unquote political, it's personal. We're talking about millions of people who are related to undocumented people that you call criminal illegals every day, right? So it's not for me. I mean, I remember that Martin Luther King quote.
What should I call people who are here illegally? Should I pretend they're not here illegally?
No, hey, look, you asked me to come on your show pretty much once a week, and I come here as an undocumented person. I'm privileged.
You may be overstating it a little bit. I think this is the third time. But here's the point.
Here's the point. I am here illegally. I am here illegally talking to you as an undocumented, unauthorized person who doesn't have authorization. But I, as a person, am not illegal. But semantics aside,
okay, right? So I robbed a liquor store yesterday, which is illegal, but I'm not illegal. I don't even know what the point you're making is. I'm not saying you're a bad person. I'm saying your status is in violation of the law.
By the way, I did that. I came out voluntarily 6 years ago, just so we can actually tell the truth about this issue, right? Like, to tell the truth and have facts. And to me, I have to say, and kind of the way you're framing this whole conversation right now, it's consistent with thinking of the left or of immigrants as some sort of violent people, when the reality is immigrants in this country actually commit, undocumented immigrants specifically, commit less crime than native-born
Okay, actually what I was doing was rolling tape from yesterday, just to bring it back to reality, if I could. And pardon my interruption of your soliloquy.
No, that's okay.
This happened yesterday.
Yes.
People stood in the street, blocked traffic, committed acts of violence. in the name of a specific political point of view. I'm not saying all leftists are violent. I'm not saying all illegal aliens are violent. I'm saying the people on the screen were, and you don't see members of Congress, you don't see mayors of cities, you don't see governors who agree with their politics saying you can't do this. We're tolerating this stuff, and it's ripping the country in half. That's the point.
What is that Martin Luther King quote about riot being the voice of the unheard? Right? Like many of those people who are rioting, and again, I can't speak for all of them, but I know for a fact personally that many people who actually participated peacefully were just there to participate, to have a voice, to say that my parents are not criminals. Please stop terrorizing us. Please stop trying to
What you're doing is building a straw man. I in no way am criticizing people who have a legitimate disagreement and want to voice it. I do that on this show every night. I'm merely saying that when you block traffic, when you break things, when you commit acts of violence against other people, the rest of us as a society need to stop you from doing that or things fall apart. What you appear to be doing is justifying their behavior.
I'm not justifying anybody's behavior. All I'm telling you is, again, I can't speak for them. I can't speak for why people did what they did. But what I can tell you is that this is really a time of terror and just fear in a lot of people, right?
Yeah.
And people want to be heard.
Yeah, I think that's true. And you know who also wants to be heard but who doesn't really get a regular hearing? Is American citizens who were born here, who see their country changing and becoming really chaotic, and they ought to have a voice in who comes here.
Tucker.
And your argument appears to be they have no right to say who comes here.
Wait a second. You just got the Bill O'Reilly slot representing those people. I mean, people like that.
Well, that would be the majority of Americans who were born here, and I think they have a right to say who comes here. That's our fundamental disagreement.
It's not. We agree with that.
Really? Because you're here illegally, and you're basically saying, I dare you to do something about it.
No, I am here illegally, voluntarily coming out and saying, how do you define American? How do we fix this problem? How do we live with the fact that undocumented workers in this country, I actually brought you a little gift. It's from defineamerican.com. It's our fact sheet. It has 6 facts. And I know that you're, these are independently sourced journalistic facts about undocumented people in this country and why they're here, right? The taxes they pay, Social Security. If you talk to the Social Security Administration here in Washington, D.C., actually the chief actuary of the Social Security Administration said that undocumented workers have contributed $100 billion into the Social Security fund.
I get it. I'm very familiar with these statistics. Some of them are true and some of them aren't. But here's the fact that I want to bring us back to, which is, don't American citizens have the right to determine who comes here and who doesn't? So you're an illegal alien, and you're lecturing me about your right to be here. I'm a little confused. A little bit. You're throwing this in my face and saying, you should like this.
Did I
you should like
this. I did not, as a journalist, which I am, and I have a Pulitzer to show for it.
I'm very impressed, Jose.
Those are facts, very independently verifiable facts, and I did not throw them at you.
Look,
all I'm doing is trying to provide. Look, if I did not want to have a conversation about this, as uncomfortable as this, I would have just kept in the closet and didn't tell anybody that I was here illegally.
Okay.
Right.
I'm grateful that you're here. I'm willing to believe I like immigrants, and I'm willing to believe that some of these are probably true statistics. But it doesn't change the fact that American citizens have the right to determine who comes here, and people who are here illegally have no right to demand that we keep them here. You don't agree with that. You say that illegal aliens somehow ought to have a political voice, and my position is that being illegal here puts you, by definition, outside the political process.
Millions of these quote-unquote illegal aliens, I'm not from Mars, are related to U.S. citizens.
Yes,
right?
that's true.
So those exactly. So are you going to tell those U.S. citizens then, they're right now U.S. citizen children in foster care because both parents have gotten deported?
Yes.
Right? So are you telling them that they cannot have
What I am saying is that the people who live here and control our government, which is the citizens of the United States, have a right to make the determination.
Yes,
you
absolutely.
do not.
I agree with that.
And here's my second question.
Yeah.
What is the level of immigration appropriate for this country? What is best for this country? We have 1.1 million coming illegally every year. We have some unknown number of immigrants here living illegally. We don't know the number.
Well, people say 11 million, right?
People say 20 million. But whatever. What's the right number?
That number you just quoted is from Numbers USA, which is labeled the hate group by the Southern Poverty Law Center.
Spare me the nonsense.
Nonsense.
Spare me the nonsense. I'm asking you a simple question.
The simple
you say
question
you're a Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist.
We need to figure out how many immigrants do we actually want in this country. Well, is it 1 million? For example, we issue about 1 million green cards a year.
I just said
is that enough?
So, no, that's my question to you since you do this for a living. I ask this question almost every night of people, and they haven't thought it through, or they're not willing to reveal what they really think. And I'm asking you now, what's the number, since you do it for a living, that we ought to be admitting into this country?
For me, before we figure that out, we have to ask harder questions of ourselves. But let me get back. Let me ask you a question.
You don't have an answer then.
Well, I have an answer. My mother right now is on a 12-year waiting list to get a green card to America. There are 1 million, as you said, 1 million green cards issued a year.
I'm aware.
Is that enough? There are, for example, companies in Silicon Valley that
You don't know
need
the
more
number.
green
You're
cards.
basically
Wait a second.
arguing against our immigration policy,
I am not
but you're
arguing-
not suggesting what it ought to be.
Look, I am here to have an uncomfortable conversation with you. As
You'd
we're
make
doing,
it
by the
more
way,
comfortable by
what-
answering a very simple question, but you're
Because,
not.
first of all, it's not a quote-unquote simple question.
Okay.
It's not a simple question, Tucker.
Okay. I'm going to give you some, we're unfortunately out of time. I'm going to give you some time to think about this, and I want you to come back on
by
with
the
an
way,
actual number.
And,
okay?
and for people watching, if you want to go to the Define American Film Festival and
Right.
have more
Okay.
comfortable
Sell the
conversations,
product,
go next
and then
week.
we're going to go. But come
It's
back
not a
and
product,
but I want
Tucker.
you to think about it, please, because it's a real question.
Well, I have more, but it doesn't
Okay.
fit. It doesn't fit kind of this.
I'll give you 8 minutes
Actually,
to tell me the number,
oh,
and
that
we're
would
out
be
of time
great.
now.
8 minutes, great.
I would say thank you.